I love Kenya, I love Kenya, I love Kenya. This week we're off to Kenya.
My name is Steve Layton, and I travel the world finding amazing and delicious coffee for you to drink at home. Some make coffee difficult to understand and complicated, but here it's my job to make it easy and fun and tell you what's in my mug.
Kenya, Kenya, Kenya. This is from the Kieni wet mill, which is located in the Nyeri, which is in the central highlands of Kenya. Has an altitude of around about 1,700 metres above sea level and is run by the Magaga Farmers Cooperative Society. Nyeri County has super cool temperatures, has really fertile, kind of rich soils and lands in the central highlands, and it lies between the eastern base of the Aberdare mountain range and forms part of the East Great Rift Valley that runs through the western slopes of Mount Kenya. Nyeri town, which is like the county headquarters if you like, acts as a destination for people visiting the Aberdare National Mountain Park and Mount Kenya. And Nyeri County is the home of the famous Treetops Hotel, like a rustic treehouse hotel where Queen Elizabeth went to bed a princess and woke up a queen when she found out her father had died, King George V, in February 1952. And she was actually on a honeymoon at the time. Both me and Roland had a honeymoon moment there with Simon from 3FE2, where we stopped at the Treetops Hotel, and it was absolutely a truly magical time. Like watering hole where animals, rhinoceros and elephants would come up and like take water, and like the distance from me to here, you could literally touch them. We should get back on coffee. Most of the coffee beans from the Nyeri are developed very slowly because of the altitude and are extra hard beans. This ends up with quality in the cup. And Nyeri is traditionally known as like the heart of Kenya's black gold country. The coffee is mainly grown on the upper plateaus where the farmers' homes are, and they're normally very small holders where they'll have like 200 or so trees in a family plot, and each individual family will look after their own coffee. So it's not like this is like one big person, this is lots of small people coming together. The coffee is processed as washed. It is then fermented underwater and dried slowly over 2 to 3 weeks, where they wait for the moisture content to get to like 10-12%, and then they will deliver the coffee to the dry mill. Super excited to taste this coffee, so we should move on to the next bit. So this week we're going to focus on the tasting notes, and this is a super different Kenyan that kind of like really hit me for six when I first tasted it. So it's got like a tiki twist. The first thing you get is like a big mouthfeel, and then a hit of like tropical juicy fruit, lemons and oranges kind of all mashed together with a super sweet caramel sweetness, acidity, and like a super different Kenyan. I really wanted to talk about these notes this week because they are the weirdest Kenyan notes that I've ever written.
Qué lindo, no, muy bonita la textura,
Let me show you, as geography teacher Steve, where Kenya is. Kenya is here. But actually, we have a much better map of it here. The geography of Kenya is diverse. Kenya has a coastline on the Indian Ocean, which contains the swamps of East African mangroves. Inland are broad plains and numerous hills. Central and western Kenya is characterized by the Kenya Rift Valley, home to Kenya's highest mountain, Mount Kenya, and Mount Elong, which is on the border between Kenya and Uganda. The Kamagiga forest in the western Kenya is a relic of an East African rainforest. Much bigger is the Mau forest, the largest forest complex in East Africa. So I'm joined by Roland. Hello, Roland.
Hi, Steve.
Have you got any daft facts for us this week?
I think I have.
You haven't. That's
No.
good. That's good. Because what we're going to talk about this week is we've got the Kenya Kieni.
Ooh,
And obviously we visited Kenya in December last year. And what I wanted to talk to you about was how do you differently approach a coffee once you've actually met the people that grow it and have an understanding of the farm?
I think the main thing is terror. you feel a real fear because you see how much ridiculously hard work goes into getting that coffee picked and grown and looked after and shipped all the way here. So every time you're roasting it, you're thinking, it's better not go wrong.
It's right, it's right. And how would you approach roasting the Kieni, for instance? Like, what would be your, like, say if you've never roasted this coffee before and it's a Kenyan, what would be your initial approach? Because obviously you tweak it after that.
You do, absolutely. But I think going in, Kenyans, for me, they're really bright acidity, normally, but they've also got lots of sweetness and body. And I tend to want to get both of those things out of Kenyans. So normally, I'd want to go reasonably quickly, and I'd probably want to go just before second crack starts. For me. That's when we drop it out. I think that's probably about the right point for it normally.
Roland, pleasure. And there were no Daft Max. Well
No
done.
Daft Max.
So this is a new section where we get to meet some of the dispatch staff. That's staying, you can't laugh at it. Where we get to meet the dispatch staff. And this is Kaylee. Kaylee, say hello to the lovely people.
Hello.
So who are you and what is your job?
I'm Kay, and I work in dispatch.
And what is your job in dispatch, Kaylee?
Dispatch supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that involve though?
That involves making sure everybody gets all of the orders right and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're in charge of a team of 7 people, is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, with Nicola as well.
Yeah.
What other job do you have as well, though? Be my baby sister. Oh, you're cute. So yeah, Kaylee's worked with me for
It's just over 7 years.
just over 7 years. Feels like 70. So, what is a typical day for you? What time would you come in, and what would you do during the day?
So, in at 8 o'clock, process the morning orders, get everything printed off, all the labels, address labels. While the invoices are being sorted, do some odd jobs, check for any frauds, get any labels sorted for any subscriptions, etc. Go out, do
Bag
whatever.
coffee, pack
Bag
coffee,
pack
stick it in
coffee,
envelopes. And on an In My Mug day, kind of how busy would that be? Because these are the In My Mug people that you're sending subscriptions to.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
So
Yeah.
lots of bagging, lots of packing, lots of address labels.
Yeah. A lot of time in the office for me.
Yeah. So you get to meet Kay. You're going to meet some other people of the team as well as we go through this. But she was the only volunteer who would do it. So thank you for that.
Yay.
And yeah, let's move on to the next part. So I'm joined by Sonali. Hello, Sonali. You're back again after episode 450, which I'm very grateful of. And you brewed the Kenyan for us. So tell us a little bit about your brew recipe for this. What have you put in? What have you got out?
I put in 18.5, pulled out 36 for 32 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, super
So-
juicy.
I find Kenyans really difficult to make espresso with. Is there anything you do particularly different when you were approaching a Kenyan because of that high acidity?
I normally just have a longer brewing time just to make sure it's super juicy and we've got everything we can out of it.
Fantastic. Should we try it? I wanted to try it now. You've described it as super juicy. We're sharing cups because that's what coffee people do. We cup and we share stuff together.
Yeah,
It's,
sharing is caring.
It is. Sharing is definitely caring. All of those germs. So for me, I'm not a massive fan of espresso and Kenyans. I'm really not. I struggle a lot with them. And it's mainly because of what I'm getting now is lots of acidity.
Yeah.
I get like a real tropical fruit acidity.
Kind of like lilt, sparkling lilt on
Can I-
holiday.
But in the aftertaste, I actually get lots of things I like from this coffee. So I'm getting like an orange-like acidity as well, and I get a real kind of sweet caramel. It's delicate sweetness, but it's kind of underneath, but it's kind of there still in that mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree?
Well brewed.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me again,
Thanks.
Sonali. I know that this was thrown on you and you were unprepared, so I'm very grateful.
Thank you guys for watching. It's a pleasure as always. And do remember, life is definitely too short for bad coffee. Yeah, snappy.